Hi everyone, Neil here. I am the Dungeon Master for Gags and Geeks' Pinoy Homebrew D&D campaign called Dice and Geeks. I'm here to keep you up to date on what's been happening on our crazy campaign, and we have 12 3-hour-long sessions to recap, so let's jump right into it. The campaign is set in the world of Azarae, and we start our story with a band of sellswords. Japet played Belphegor, a halfling rogue. Louis is Xenon, a half-elf fighter trained to wield great weapons. Clarisse played Bebe, a dragonborn paladin, and Joe, Hikari, a half-elf bard. They were hired to escort a merchant ship to the small island of Herea. Successfully completing their quest, they stayed the night before setting off on their next quest. In the middle of the night, however, a loud banging on the wooden doors of the inn woke up the party, as the town was covered by thick fog and was being ransacked by skeletons and the undead. As the stench of flesh and the wicked filled the air, screams of terror, pain, and desperation echoed throughout the whole town. The party worked with the guards and the officials to evacuate everyone in the town, and as they discovered later, the whole island. Traveling across the seas, they tended to the wounded and comforted those who were traumatized, those whose bodies and minds had been tested. After a couple of days, they arrived in the city of Govan, on the elven continent of Glyfractia, east of Herea. The officials, the town's guards, and the healers of Govan hurried to the aid of the evacuees. The party then went to the captain of the town's guards to report the devastating event that fell onto Herea. The captain informed the party that he'll escalate the news to the higher-ups of the town and advised the party to rest. During their stay in Govan, the party heard news from a shopkeeper of caravans being ambushed that greatly affected their goods. And with the evacuees flooding the town, the shopkeeper is afraid that their supplies might quickly run out. Seeing the weight of the situation, the party agreed to investigate the ambushes. They later discovered that the ambushes were orchestrated by goblins. They fought off the raiding party and captured one of the goblins. They interrogated the small creature and forced him to guide the party to their hideout so that they could finish off the root of the problem. Before wreaking havoc to the hideout, the party asked Diaz, their hostage, why they were pillaging the caravans. The goblin shared a saddening story about how the elves are capturing their kings, women, and children, little goblinoids, for whatever wretched reasons.
You elves! You took everything from us. Our food, even our children. Savages!
The party paused for a while to take this all in, but as experience taught them, never trust a goblin.
What my friend said was clear. And I'm sorry to say, little goblin, it's time for you to die.
Xenon then proceeded to cut the head straight off of the goblin's torso.
Rest in peace, little goblin.
Keeping no loose ends, the party turned to the opening on the foot of the mountain not far from them and launched an attack. The goblins stationed at the hideout were no match to the cunning attacks of the party, and as the battlefield turned silent, the party started to look around for more clues. That's the end of episode 1. After hearing scuffles deeper into the cavern, the party investigated the hideout and discovered makeshift tents, what seemed to be a temporary daycare with toys for children, a kitchen with food still on the fire, and a secret path behind the stone walls. The party quickly and easily opened the path and discovered another goblin party waiting on the other end.
May kape dito.
I want everyone to roll initiative.
Hindi kita matitip.
A short skirmish occurred, and with Baby's quick thinking and good party coordination, the goblin were no match, even when the party was bottlenecked.
Wala pa akong gagawin pero
Yung block.
Okay. You're just...
magpapreso yung sarili ko
Your
for...
shield. Bye-bye, I have a plan. So listen. Just use your shield to guard. So I'll just poke them. Just use your shield. Sounds like a plan?
Sure.
Let's do that.
Go team!
Go team! Fight!
Ay, hindi, patay pa lang. Seeing that the goblins' numbers are starting to dwindle, the leader, an unusually large goblinoid, grabbed Xenon by the head and threatened the party to drop their weapons or he'll crush their friend's head. You see sa far end ng room, it looks like a goblin but extremely larger than the others. As you enter, looks at you. Yes.
Ako, nasa unahan na naman si Xenon.
Guys, I think I'm antayan it.
Hey,
Okay,
it's me
so-
again.
I think you like that way.
Top of the round, this big guy runs throwing yung table na nasa harapan across the room, approaches
Ikaw
you
kita mo. Whoa, face down in the dirt.
and grapples you. Touch your face and yung kamay
Suplex!
niya.
Ay, hindi. That's your
Yung kamay niya, it's not that, hindi niya masyado na-cover yung mukha mo, but the grip and the strength of this creature is enough to actually lift you up sa door. And this abnormally huge goblin looks at the rest of the party and says, "Enough!
Okay, so stop na.
Everyone, stand down!"
Oh, this...
And you see yung mga goblins na nasa likod na nakatutok na sa inyo ready for their attacks. Lowers their crossbows.
Sasabihan ko rin yung mga...
And looks at you. At looks at everyone. What are you doing?
Sige, gaganon ako.
Sasabihan ko yung mga kasama kong, stand down guys, stand down.
The tension eased after a brief moment of realization. And this sounds serious and all, but it won't stop Hikari, the party's bard, from hitting on the humongous goblin.
You look a goblin, but there's no such thing as this size of a goblin.
Yeah. You look like an orc.
Yeah, you are close to an orc.
Just another goblin.
Good genes, huh? Good genes.
Maybe you and I after.
After the rather unusual introductions, Zir, the leader, made a deal to never ambush the caravans in this area again, as long as the party helped the goblins clear the rest of the caverns below the hideout for their tribe. The party agreed as long as Zir didn't suspect the party of being responsible for the raids that resulted in their tribe's demise. Looks at the the half-elves. Nakita niya yung pagka-point ng ears ninyo and says,
Oh no.
Yeah. You hate elves, but we just came here in this island. We are not.
We
really
are not
from
of
here.
this land.
We are not from here, so don't judge the look by its cover.
Don't judge the ear by its looks.
Don't judge the humanity by their ancestry.
What's happening? What's with ears? Guys?
Following Zir and his elites below the hideout, the party discovered a vast network of caverns with multiple chambers of various sizes. The interaction between the party and the goblins continued as they went deeper into the caverns. As they did, Zir gave command to the elites to stay behind to watch for and if there are more people following them. Zir also informed the party of creatures that dwell in the caverns. Zir raised his hands. Stop!
There's another one here.
Don't move. These are the creatures I'm telling you about. Basilisks. We can't fight them head on. After the encounter with the basilisks, the party barely succeeded. Zir led them to where the rest of the tribe were waiting. The party couldn't believe their eyes, as for them, this is the first time they've seen little goblins, children playing around with their mothers watching over them. Arriving at the goblins' camp, the elites that were guarding the camp were quick with their crossbows, pointing them towards the party. Zir raised his hands and were quickly recognized by the watch. The goblins were shocked and even afraid at first at the party as they walked towards the center of the camp. The party then revisited the deal, and Zir, as a token of gratitude, gave each member of the party a gold bangle with a goblin tooth. He instructed the party to wear this when they encounter goblins from their tribe, to be recognized as honorary members. Zir also offered their secret passages to the party should they need them. The party were delighted, and with that gesture, the tribe, although still tense, were a little more comfortable. The children played with the party before they rested for the day. The party woke up with only a quarter of the tribe left, as Zir shared that they will leave in the middle of the night to a more secure location near the mountains. The party left the camp and headed on out towards the east as instructed by Zir. After a brief encounter with the Greek, the party got out of the cave into a small opening just outside the vast forest and a road going to an unfamiliar city not far ahead, another port city, Lorona. Arriving at Lorona, Hikari broke off from the party to go on ahead and check out the town. The rest of the party quickly went to a store just outside the city to sell the parts they got from the creatures they have slain. The shopkeeper, Ivan, was kind enough and was accommodating to fulfill the party's requests, and bought the basilisk eyes from the party. But with the help of a stranger informing them about the real price of the basilisk eyes, which was much higher than what Ivan gave them, Xenon and Belph orchestrated a heist to win back what they thought was rightfully theirs.
Oh wow, that's a really good find right there. You have basilisk eyes, aren't they? Pointing at
Yes. No, shush.
Yung sa akin ba yan o yung kay Louie?
Sorry there, my elven friend, but those actually sell for around at least 5 gold pieces each. You can probably sell it right across the street. There's an alchemist right there. You can probably sell it for the right price.
Tapos bubuhati ko si Beth. Beth, do it now! Or I'll do something
With a good mix of Xenon's destruction and Belph's stealth and finesse with sleight of hand, they got away with some gold pieces and a beautiful malachite gem. Meanwhile, in the middle of the town, Hikari set up a container in front of him and started playing different tunes for a quick buck. After a couple of songs, a beautiful elf with porcelain skin and white smooth hair approached Hikari. The gorgeous lady introduced herself as Zildana, a noble from Sontar, the capital of Glyfractia.
Is this going to be my wife? Is this a lover of a lifetime?
Asa na kami
Is
ng
this
time
destiny?
Zildana. Not long into their conversation, the rest of the party were already in the city and were approaching Hikari, almost missing his signals to ignore him. Seeing the signal, Belph stealthily grabbed Hikari's hands and handed over the malachite gem without Zildana noticing, hoping it would help Hikari with his unexpected date. As the rest of the party walked towards the inn, Zildana's guards approached her with the dagger that she asked for them to acquire. This prompted Hikari to ask about her interests, and she gladly shared that she was a collector of weapons and she admired adventurers and their stories.
Kinocall ko lang, off game. Mapapahamak tayo down the line sa gagawin ni Hikari ngayon.
That said, Hikari invited her to the tavern to continue their lovely conversation. Hikari shared that he was supposed to become a soldier as their kingdom's rules, but he dropped out and went on the unusual path of becoming a bard. Diverting the conversation, as Hikari seemed to be uncomfortable talking about his past, Zildana asked about their adventures. Their conversation went on for quite a while, with Hikari even showing the malachite, but didn't give it to her because it was a party item.
Be careful with that. It's not mine.
Looks at it. Before Zildana had to take her leave, however, she invited the party to come find her in the Emerald District should the party go to the capital, and she'll accommodate them. The party stayed in the tavern for a while, discussing whether to go back to Goven or to look for a job while they're in the town. Overhearing their conversation, an elven man introduced himself as Kailu Valnan and that he's desperately looking for help finding her wife, who has been missing for 2 days already. The party discussed among themselves and decided to take the quest. Kailu invited the party to his cabin home deep in the forest, north of the cavern opening where the party emerged earlier. Kailu informed them that from there, the party can start the search northwards to where his wife was last seen.
Okay, you got yourself a deal. We find your wife, you pay us. Easy peasy.
We'll leave tomorrow morning.
Arriving at Kailu's home, the party was introduced to his son, Ayan Valnan. The party quickly got acquainted with the young elf, as Xenon saw a potential in the kid with his archery skills. Meanwhile, Kailu quickly went to business and offered everything he could to help the party in their search. With their supplies replenished and their bodies rested, the party departed from the cabin and went on northward, deeper into the forest. About an hour into their search, an arrow was shot just in front of the party, with a female voice yelling some sort of code. The party looked among themselves, but Belph quickly recognized the code, stepped forward, and yelled the answering phrase.
I am father.
The forest grew silent for a minute, and behind the trees, a female wood elf with green eyes and beautiful smooth copperish skin covered with long black ponytail hair approached the party and introduced herself as Shora, Kailu's wife. She mentioned to the party that only people from the glaive are aware of the phrase. The party then learned that both her and Belph are members of different branches of the glaive, Shora from the Twin Glaive and Belph from the Twilight Glaive. She told the party that she's in a covert mission and that she didn't tell Kailu anything because she doesn't want anything to be traced back to her family.
Okay, I will ask the question. Do you need any help with whatever you are doing? Because if you saw what we saw back in your house, back there, they're very worried about you.
The party offered to help Shora with her mission so that she can go back to her family as soon as possible. While they were walking deeper into the forest, Shora shared that her mission is to maintain surveillance over a cabin in the woods where drows were seen to come and go. She already deduced that they were a recon team, but she doesn't know their purpose yet. Volunteering, Belph stealthily moves closer to the windows to take a peek at what's happening inside. Without triggering any alarms, Belph relayed the intel he gathered back to the team. They planned an order of actions to execute and they positioned themselves to launch a surprise attack. A long encounter ensued with the party going all out against the drows and their special abilities. Xenon almost perished, but with the help of their dragonborn paladin, Bebe, they successfully got back to the fight again. With half of the recon squad down, and with their leader captured by Shora, the drows surrendered. In anger, Belph proceeded to execute the remaining drows, and their leader did her best to show that this doesn't affect her. With the drow leader bound, the party brought her back to the cabin and started an interrogation. Shora shared her notes that the 6 of the members of the squad go out for 3 to 4 hours and come back sometimes wounded and blooded. The drows then shared that they were hired by the people shunned by the capital, the poor, the oppressed, the very people the capital wishes to erase. Those who gave everything they have to hire them, to hire the very people the party has just killed. Shora asked Belph to lower his rapier immediately and confirmed to the party that the glaive was recently made aware that the elders of the capital are keeping poor people somewhere in the city, hiding them from the population, and that there are people in the capital looking to revolt against the elders. The first step of the revolution being letting the other cities know about the oppression and social segregation in the capital. The party was then introduced on how the elders run Clifratia and how the riches of the capital doesn't reach the poor. As the weight of the conversation grew heavier and heavier, with Xenon placing his great sword to the throat of the drow questioning her, Bebe tried to convince the party to stop any further bloodshed. And with her throat on the line, the drow leader shared their mission to gather information about the movements of the cities around the capital and record patrol movements in key nobles. By the way, this is probably the part of the campaign where the party wisely used their insight checks. Noticing that Shora knows the same things she knows, the drow leader also disclosed the name of their client, Advin, the contact they have in the Emerald District of Sontar, the capital city of Clifratia. The party then inquired further about the intel they gathered through the Recon Squad's investigation. However, the drow grew more and more tired of the questions and asked to be released. At that point, Bebe made a deal with her.
Hindi, ganito. May pagkasunduan ako sa'yo. Tatanggalin namin yung tali sa'yo, pero pag tumakas ka, papatayin ka namin diretso.
Tekla galing yan.
Paladin na to.
Pero, wait lang. Hindi, pero sinasabi ko yun kasi para matakot ka.
Out of desperation to save herself, the drow agreed but not without trying to guilt the party.
Maraming salamat. Mabait din naman pala kayo kahit na pinatay niyo ang aking mga kasama nang kami ay sumuko.
A few clarifications from the party ensued before moving forward with this seemingly newfound relationship. To validate the drow's story, she told the party that they can confirm with her contact in Sontar. The party made plans to visit Sontar, investigate further, while Shora will deliver Dalael, the drow, to their glaive's hideout. To put the party at ease, Shora also mentioned that she'll stop by their home and tell her family that there is something that she must finish and can't involve them.
Depende, isasaksak ko sa sahig yung espada ko. Depende sa impormasyon na ibibigay mo sa amin, maaari ka namin matulungan sa iyong misyon. Kung mapatunayan nating masasama nga ang mga pakay ng 5 elder nitong kontinenteng to. Kasi ako rin ay nanggaling sa isang mahirap na pamilya at naintindihan ko kung ano ang buhay ng pagiging mahirap.
Shora told the party that they can go to the capital 2 days faster if they go through the Red Mountains. Before leaving, the party also helped Dalael bury the remains of her squad. On their way to the Red Mountains, the party was ambushed by dire wolves. But instead of finishing the poor creatures, Xenon came up with a plan.
I'll do something stupid too! Animal handling.
Ano gagawin mo?
Yakapin ko, tapos papakalmahin ko.
A dire wolf?
But the dice gods weren't in the party's favor, and they failed. Arriving in the mountains, the party were ambushed by a party of bugbears patrolling the caverns. But with the smart combination of abilities, the party fended off the bugbears. After resting for a while, however, they heard movements once more and discovered another bugbear and a dire wolf. This session started with an encounter with a bugbear and a dire wolf that the party quickly finished off.
Xenon, right in front of you, pasigaw pa lang yung hobgoblin sa mukha mo. And you see this crossbow bolt na tumama bigla sa gilid ng ulo niya. And falls limp.
The party then proceeded to explore the caverns, looking for a path towards the direction of the capital. Looking around, the party was surprised by a mimic chest and giant spiders. The party briefly scolded each other for splitting the party, but in the end, they survived the rather difficult encounter. After resting for a while, the party continued deeper into the caverns. Approaching a larger chamber, they were ambushed by goblins with their crossbows loaded and pointed at the members of the party. With their quick reaction, the party showed their arms bearing the bands with goblin teeth. Quickly, a familiar goblin ordered the elites to lower their crossbows. Zir, now without the influence of an enhanced potion of growth, surprised the party with his original form and size. After exchanging pleasantries, Zir honored their agreement and guided the party through the safe passage out of the mountains. Before proceeding with their mission, Zir welcomed the party to their encampment inside the mountains and offered bedrolls for the party to rest. After resting, Zir guided the party to the exit overlooking Sontar, the capital of Kefrakia, on the horizon in about half a day's worth of travel. The episode ended with jokes from Bebe.
Pag nanganak yung mga dragonfly,
Ano?
alam mo yung tawag doon?
Ano?
Dragon balls! Yay!
From a distance, the party can see the tall walls of the capital, the docks on the opposite end towards the vast blue ocean, and at the center of the city itself, another walled district with a well-guarded citadel in the middle, and the river passing through the city from the foot of the mountains to the ocean. Approaching the city, the party noticed the elegance in the people's attires. Left and right, people are talking about businesses, trade, and profits. Clearly, they entered through the business area of the city. The party's first agenda, however, is to find a map to navigate the many streets of the city. The party then proceeded to the Emerald District to wait for Shora in the Menagerie Inn. Inside the inn, they are greeted by a female elf with the shoulder-length brunette hair with very clean and elegant clothing. Xenon quickly fell in love with the elf and approached her.
What's your name, my beautiful lady?
Belph asked to meet with the owner for inquiries, and Lyra instructed the party to wait. After about an hour, the owner approached the party. Arun greeted the party with open arms and complimented them. Well, complimented Bebe most of the time.
Looks at Bebe and says, "Nice meeting you, my lady."
Dapat ako sa gitna nila. Thank you for the room.
The owner also gave the party rooms for free as they waited for a common ally, Shora. Since it's still dusk, the party split up to explore the city to gather more information. Belph went to the local bar to ask around about the elders, but most of them just evade the question. Bebe went to the docks and played hero versus dragon with some elven kids. Hikari stayed in the Menagerie Inn and cleaned up everyone's armors. And Xenon, well, Xenon went on a date with Lyra. The date went on really well, and Xenon not only got a closer look inside the Diamond District, the Citadel, and the suspicious patches on the walls alongside the river, he also stayed the night at Lyra's place on the opposite side of the river. If you want to learn more about that romantic date, we made a highlight just for that. This session opened up with Xenon waking up to the sweet aroma of Lyra's cooking after a fine night. Xenon accepted the reaction and looked forward to furthering the relationship. After a great breakfast, both of them went back to the Menagerie Inn to meet up with the rest of the party. With a couple of hours left before the meeting with the glaive, the party split up once more, with Xenon, Belph, and Bebe set off to sell their loot and replenish their supplies. Meanwhile, Hikari went to look for Zildana in the Emerald District, close to the inn. He first checked out the Saunter Post where he met Zona, with whom he got the directions to Zildana's estate. Knocking on the door, he was greeted by Venda, the family's butler. There, Hikari discovered that Zildana is a daughter of Koran Ushili, the head of the Saunter Post, the main postal service of Clefactia. Hikari also tried to ask Zildana if she was aware of any wrongdoings inside the city, but she was confused since she was still learning the trade to take her father's place in the future. If there are things happening in the capital, her father would be the one to ask. Upon heading out, Venda acted suspicious as he bid Hikari farewell. Hikari just shook this off and moved on. A couple of hours passed. The party gathered again in the inn, and Aaron and Shora escorted them to the inn's basement. There, the party was greeted by the members of the twins' glaive, Aaron, Siora, and Zona. During the meeting, the party discovered different aspects of the glaive's operation throughout the capital. The meeting places spread across multiple districts, guard patrol notes, and notes about the key establishments in the city. The glaive also shared the names of the elders: Markan Antis, Christia Ariel, Dracus Gabelion, Elric Paris, and Alviva Fegor. The party was also introduced to the history of the uprising, when a couple of years back, before the vast renovations in the city, some of the people revolted against the gentrification designed by the elders. This citywide change affected the lower class, since the plan mostly favors those in the middle class after the rich business people of the Gold, Emerald, and Diamond districts. The suppressed people with no money to buy land fled to the other countries, and the others hid deep below the capital, where they discovered the underground city of Starno. The party was also introduced to what the glaive believes to be the hero of the revolution for uncovering the plans of the elders, a hooded female with brunette braids and with only one arm. Seeing the wanted poster, Belph quickly recognized his mentor, the master thief of the Twilight Glaive, Kula. The party then inquired,
But here's the thing, guys. If we're going to let the sword do the talking, if we're going to replace the elders, who will replace them?
And Zona butted in and says, the rightful heir. Saunter wasn't always ruled by elders. This was a kingdom. Clefactia was first a kingdom, not wearing a butler's attire.
Venda.
And he looks at you as you say his name and says, among other names, but in this room, kind sir, I am called Advent. And you see sila Zona, si Aaron, they both stood up and just bowed a little. And Shora says, so, is the royalty? Looks at Aaron. Yes, Shora. He's the one I've been telling you about.
The briefing continued, and the party was informed that dropouts of the College of Azarae are in the city as Crown's guards. This raised alarms, since the College of Azarae were well known for having the most powerful arcane users in the whole world. The party noted this, but they want to meet with Kula in Starno first. But Bebe has a concern.
We planned this very well.
Lastly, Arun showed the party one of the entrances to the paths to Starno. A brief moment later, the meeting was adjourned. The party proceeded to the path laid out by Arun, and they started in the halls of the fallen heroes, where the party learned further about the history of Sontar and Starno, the sister cities which are the fruits of the alliance that can be traced centuries in the past. The halls was also the final resting place of the different heroes, nobles, lecturers, and other significant people in the history of the sister cities. Here, the party got their first magic items by searching the halls thoroughly. Passing through the hall, the party encountered a ferocious enemy, a bullet. With a smart use of tanking by Bebe, the heavy blows of Xenon, the accurate shots of Belph, and the ever-useful support of Hikari, the party successfully defeated the hungry bullet. From that point on, the party decided to tread carefully on their way to Starno. Navigating through the caverns using Arun's map, the party decided not to do any side trips and head straight to Starno. Getting out of the main cavern system, the party was greeted with a vast chamber enough to house the whole city of Starno. A city with a tall towering structure in the middle surrounded by what looks like different districts, but some of the houses look destroyed and abandoned. Arriving at the city, the party was surprised to see other races here compared to the elven city of Sontar. For their quest, it wasn't difficult to find Kula, as she's the one who tracked the party down after hearing the news of their arrival from Arun. Celebrating their union again, Kula invited Belph to a sparring match to see his progress, with Xenon as a witness. As expected, Belph was no match to Kula, as she easily dodged all of Belph's attacks. After exchanging pleasantries, Kula told the party about the history of the two cities, how she lost her arm during her escape and barely succeeded with the help of a fellow fugitive, Wormtongue. She also mentioned that Alviva is the elder who took her arm during one torture session before escaping. She then asked the party to pass a test, retrieve the royal crown from the ruins of the old city. Exploring the ruins, the party was greeted by a troublesome opponent, a spectator with the crown on one of its eye stalks. The party stumbled left and right during the encounter, with the members falling unconscious multiple times, being confused and struggling to hit the aberration. With all the members down except Belph, he gathered all his might and landed the finishing blow with only a sliver of health left.
I'll roll my dice. 16, fucker!
16 hits! 16 hits! Nice! Ooh. Galing! Dang, dude! 3 fallen allies with one guy with 1 HP. Roll for damage, dude! And that is a great way to end tonight's session.
The party opened up with Belph doing everything he can to revive his allies. Fulfilling Kula's quest, the party went back to Starno, blooded but alive. There, they rested and was greeted once again by the Council of the Glaive: Arun, Adven, Zona, Shora, Kula, and one new face, Elias. The spy sent to the Citadel under the guise of a researcher to learn more about the establishment, the purposes of each room, the schedules of the elders, and the plans for the building. During his research, Elias overheard the elders talking about a purge happening in the dungeons below the Citadel, where the elders will be meeting at sundown. He also heard them talking about ending it all. The whole room became silent for a second. Then, there, they laid out the full plan for the attack. There will be multiple teams who will act simultaneously at sundown. One team will wreak havoc in the different districts of the city and in the forest surrounding the city as a distraction for the officials to send out town's guards. To stop the crown's guards from dispatching, Kula will infiltrate the crown's guards with the help of Arun and will try to keep them there. All of these while the party, with the help of Elias, infiltrate the Citadel's dungeons through an entrance via the sewers under the bridge where Xenon had his date. With hours of preparation, the party rested and replenished their supplies. Before heading out, Kula hugged Belph and bid the whole party good luck. Arriving at the dungeons, Bebe was shocked at first and experienced flashbacks of her past that she refused to share to the rest of the party. Sneaking through the sewers and to the dungeon was easy enough until Hikari's guard disguise was caught by the captain of the guards.
From which regiment?
Kita pa ako dito ni Louie. Wait. Pause time, please.
Okay, pause
May
time.
nakakaalam ba sa amin nito yung
Pause
regiment?
time.
Wait, pause time. No, don't move. Kita pa ako dito ni Louie.
Di ko alam yung regiment.
Depende kay Louie. Xenon, can you see it?
Ako na pupunta ako sa main door. Maglalakad
Okay.
ako slowly. Tatawa ko. Asking for my regiment. Asking for my regiment. Let me ask you one thing. What is your regiment?
What is your regiment?
I'm sorry to that putik.
Are you not entertained?
Are we not all but guards in here? What is your regiment?
He just, you see him just grab your Warhammer niya and just says, I've had enough of this, and just charges towards you. Everyone roll initiative.
It's raining men.
Sigaw na ako, boobies! Boobies! Boobies!
Fighting ensued, and the party were badly surrounded.
There you go.
Oh no.
There. You can see, may dalawang tao sa likod mo directly.
Seeing that they are surrounded, the party decided to lock themselves inside the captain's quarters and try to find a way around the whole squad of the Crown's guards. Moving through the halls of the dungeons, the party was flanked badly and Xenon took most of the damage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
As you enter there, for their reaction, you see, as soon as you peek around the corner, you see two players with operators hit you.
Guys, a little help.
And
This guy is on fire.
Running out of options, the party decided to free some of the prisoners, unintentionally, as decoys. While trying to find their way around the guards, Baby and Belph heard chanting from a room that they ignored, and continued on hunting down the guards, fearing that they might call for reinforcements. The party, now playing cat and mouse with the members of the Crown's Guard, managed to launch a pincer attack at the now fleeing Crown's Guards. Bloodied and tired, the party successfully defeated a vast majority of the guards. At this point, while they were catching their breath, Baby remembered the chanting from the room that they ignored. Fearing that they may be casters from the College of Azarae, the party went rushing towards the door and discovered a gruesome image of cadavers, limbs, and organs hanging on the walls and from the ceilings of the whole room. On the bed at the far left of the room, a body of an old elven man lay unmoving, and in the center stands two old elven women.
you hear this echoing voice that says, "Having a little fun now, are we?" As all of your visions suddenly turn dark and black, and you feel like you're floating into a abyss. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
And there you have it, episodes 1 to 12 of Dice and Geeks Season 1. Catch us later 3 p.m. on twitch.tv/Gags and Geeks for the season finale. See you there, and geek out.